Hey guys, Legendary Grimlock here, and we are at the last remake. Woo! And then after Rayquaza's Revenge, you guys will get Pikachu versus Goku. And y'all already know what we're about to do here. So this is technically a composite IDW Monster X dash Ghidorah versus Power Princess from the 616, or at least her amalgamation reality and stuff like that. So let's begin with the evolved Ghidorah, Monster X. Monster X should easily scale to characters like I guess you could say the Power Rangers, or even characters like the Morphing Grid, the Omega Rangers, should scale to Godzilla, and pretty much every version of Godzilla in all honesty, because Monster X has shown to be one of the strongest monsters in the IDW Godzilla verse here. The IDW Godzilla verse is infinite in size with countless dimensions, with even things like Godzilla in Hell being a macrocosm. So things like that, or things of that caliber, and characters that are able to destroy those things, would easily have a complex multiversal. To, again, you could also say higher levels, because he was also able to kill the being who created it and created the entirety of the Godzilla verse, which again you could easily say is like creation tier, which is somewhere like outerversal and stuff like that. Again, you can get Godzilla to that pretty easily if you guys really want to go that high, especially with God's Mountain being able to create, everything in that verse and stuff, and just Godzilla killing God after that, and Monster X still being able to fight against Godzilla and even the other gods that are part of the verse, such as Yamato no Orochi, who is known to, I think it was him eating like celestial beings and stuff. And again, you would also have characters like Utsuno Ikuzagami, who would also scale to Yamato no Orochi. So again, having these characters of that caliber and of this power, with Godzilla being one of the top tiers of the verse, and Monster X easily scaling to, and sometimes slightly above Godzilla, especially when it comes to his Kaiser Ghidorah state. Now, Ghidorah possesses a plethora of things, such as his gravity beams. He has regeneration, and to some degree, he does have like telepathy, even so a strong telepathic resistance. He's able to create hurricanes, lightning, tornadoes, all that good stuff here. As for his speed, he would be massively fast and light to immeasurable levels of speed here, with characters like the Avengers even being able to get swatted aside by Godzilla like it's nothing. So, that being said here, scaling to a Godzilla that's absolutely at his peak here, being even confirmed by characters like Rita, who, again, should also have massively faster light to immeasurable levels of speed, as well as the regular Power Rangers, who were able to fight on par with characters like Drakon, the Black Dragon Zord, and etc. This would again put them at a massively, faster than light range to immeasurable levels of speed. So Ghidorah would easily scale to, again, if you really want to get there, the Outerversal category, because he would scale above God, and he would scale relative to Godzilla, who was able to destroy not only Hell, but should be able to destroy the entirety of the Godzilla, or the IDW Godzilla verse. So, that being said here, let's move on to Power Princess. Power Princess is the second strongest member of the Squadron Supreme. Might even be the strongest if you look at her feats compared to Hyperion's. Power Princess possesses a plethora of weapons, such as a Bifrost axe made from the Rainbow Bridge, or the remnants of it. She has an invisible sword, a Necro Lasso, a shield, and a lasso that was able to basically skin the Phoenix. She's one of the more sadistic members of the Squadron Supreme as well. However, her feats are very interesting as a whole here. She was able to go toe-to-toe with Thor. This was a nerfed and depowered Thor. He didn't have his power cosmic. He didn't have his, the Gaia power. He didn't even have the Odin Force one. This was a nerfed base Thor. Power Prince was also able to do things like beat World War Hulk, kill Gore the God Butcher, actually tore apart the Phoenix limb from limb. Again, she's a sadistic member of the Squadron Supreme here, and is able to cut Celestials with her sword. So again, she has a plethora of things going for her. Okay? And she's very creative with how she uses things, even having things like the Necro Sword, or aka the Necro Lasso, and was able to use this to decapitate Gore pretty easily. And again, she was also able to beat other characters like Hercules, Janet Van Dyne, the Wasp, Tigra, She was even able to be a Mangog that had the Odin Force. Yeah, it's pretty these Squadron Supreme members were yeah, they were pretty interesting. They had a lot of things going for them. Like she was beating Noel, beat Hela, you know, she beat these characters and then turns them into stone in her garden and keeps them as trophies. Again, ooh, excuse me. She's one of the more sadistic members of the Squadron Supreme. All right, there's no ifs and buts about it. If you like eat one of her bracelets, she's able to just control it and rip it out your gut. So yeah, in terms of her fighting skills, she's one of the more skilled members of the group here. And in all honesty, you can compare her to Wonder Woman. She has the most skilled out of the Squadron Supreme, even being able to outskill characters and actually use her skill in combination with her weapons to get the upper hand on opponents that should have a bit more power than her, such as the, again, Phoenix Force, like Echo. Now, it's very interesting how the Squadron Supreme really does scale, as she was able to, like, trap all these beings, like Hercules, Noel, and Hela and stuff. But again, I think you guys should know the contextualization of majority of these feats here. Now, let's get into the breakdown here, and this is, in all honesty, I do think this is like the Grimlock versus Hyperion fight, where in actuality, scaling to somebody who's not from the verse here and actually makes them a whole lot weaker. And then you also have the fact that Power Princess actually performs way better than the rest of the members of the Squadron Supreme here. She was actually going toe-to-toe with Echo Phoenix here and was actually the one to was actually beating her. Like, she was actually winning that fight, even threatening to, again, debone her, or at least skin her alive, which again is just ridiculous here. But against someone like Monster X, her sadisticness is going to be really put to the test here, especially with a whole, again, if you guys have saw the description of the video, size equalized. Okay, so basically Monster X is down to really her size here, which again I would actually find pretty funny if that actually happened. I do think Ghidorah does have some shape-shifting capabilities as well, so it is what it is here. But again, Power Princess wouldn't really scale to the character she's defeated. And again, the reason why is because these characters are nerfed. This was a universe made for her to win, you know? Made for her and the Squadron Supreme to actually be established to win. But let's compare, you know, I guess you could say the Thor showings, you know, with how Godzilla fared against Thor and really how Power Princess did. You know, with Thor himself, he's an out-of-versal being through and through. Even while weakened, he should be considered out-of-versal. I mean, this is the guy who's literal godhood, right? Transcends dimensions. A being that can destroy Demogorge's heart, crack celestial armor, was able to, well, no, that's not base Thor, never mind. Was able to, what is it? What am I looking for? Ah, yes. Harm Chaos War Hercules when he wasn't even amped by Chaos War Hercules' powers. Even being able to defeat the likes of Glory, a being that was considered on par with a pissed off Odin. And again, when it comes down to these two here and how they fared against both Thor and the opponents who fought Thor, Power Princess only fights Thor temporarily when he's not himself, when he's, I guess you say, in a semi-drunken state here where he doesn't even know who he is, and yet he's still able to hold his own against Power Princess, even get her to really start trying during the fight. Meanwhile, Thor at full power even said he was no match for one of the weaker iterations of comics Godzilla here. In IDW Godzilla, just using that alone is scaling above things like Power Rangers. You can probably even get them above things like the Omega Rangers and stuff like that, who scale to beings like Lord Zed and Drakon, who are able to bend the morphing grid to their will and stuff like that. You know, there's so much there. Even the Megazords have like multiversal to higher levels of scaling, as even Serpentera was able to damage Drakon to a good degree here. And again, Godzilla would scale above this, and we actually saw how Ghidorah fared against both Godzilla and the Megazord, and how they really had to, like, I guess you could say, get the jump on him when it came down to certain things. You know, when it came down to the fight as a whole here. And again, there's, higher planes in Power Rangers that you could say Godzilla could destroy, or that he could, at least affect to a degree here. And again, Power Rangers are ridiculously powerful, with them being able to affect entire realities, even fight beings that can destroy the entirety of the Power Rangers multiverse, which again is infinite in size, has its own cosmology to it, with even the morphing rate, even scaling above the things of, time, space, and dimensions. So possibly even above things like dimensionality or something like that. But at the end of the day here, Monster X would definitely get a hold of Power Girl. I do think she's slightly faster than he is, but I think his versatility and his sadisticness, plus him being just as good as her, if not showing a lot more better showings in hand-to-hand combat against relative combatants, and with him actually fighting full-powered opponents and not weakened opponents that are basically manipulated and pretty much just basically prepared for her to basically beat them, like literally written to beat them, I definitely see Monster X taking this more often than not. But hey, that's going to be all today, you guys. Please comment down below, like and subscribe and share with your friends. This is Legendary Grimlock, and I'll see you guys for Pikachu versus Goku. Peace.